All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the ultimate case file to uncover literally everything we know so far about Matt Reeves' highly anticipated DC sequel, The Batman Part 2. If you've been following the breadcrumbs left behind by the first film and the spin-off series, you already know the cinematic landscape of Gotham is shifting pretty rapidly. So we are going to break down the verified evidence, parse through those crazy new casting bombshells, and lay out the complete timeline for The Dark Knight's return.
So, here's our caseboard for today. We're looking at the return to a flooded Gotham, the meticulous writing process, returning allies and enemies, the new cast members, and finally the timeline to theaters.
Starting with Part 1, Return to Flooded Gotham, investigating the aftermath.
To kick things off, we are picking up just weeks after the insane events of the Penguin spin-off series. Gotham is completely flooded, it's desperate, and it's stuck in this massive power vacuum. Because of this, Matt Reeves is kind of flipping the script on us. While that 2022 film was all about establishing the terrifying symbol of the Batman lurking in the shadows, Part 2 is diving deep into the psyche of Bruce Wayne himself. We're exploring what happens when the billionaire recluse is forced to step up and become a true detective to solve a mystery that's tied to the deepest, darkest roots of his fractured city.
Matt Reeves actually put it perfectly. He said Bruce Wayne is entering a seriously psychologically exhausting phase. He's blaming himself for the flood, and the world he's operating in, it's no longer neatly divided into good versus evil. It is completely steeped in moral ambiguity. He's learning exactly how hard it is to actually be Batman when just punching a bad guy doesn't fix the underlying rot of the city.
Moving right along to Section 2, the meticulous writing process, unlocking the script. Man, the journey to actually getting this script finished was a whole saga on its own. Progress was initially halted by the 2023 Hollywood strikes, and then there were some personal delays after that. But the biggest factor? Reeves and his co-writer, Matt Tomlin, absolutely refused to rush it. Reeves wouldn't even hand over a first draft to DC Studios until he felt it was flawless, finally submitting the finished thing in late June 2025. And get this, to protect this meticulously crafted mystery, Reeves went to absolute extremes. The cast and crew didn't just get, a PDF with a watermark on it. The final draft was physically distributed to them, locked inside a highly secure, coded pouch. If you wanted to know what happens in Gotham, you literally needed to crack a safe first, which honestly, perfectly mirrors the intense paranoia of the film itself.
All right, Section 3, Returning Allies and Enemies, Familiar Faces in Gotham.
Let's crack open those suspect files and look at the veteran players coming back to this gritty Elseworlds universe. Our returning roster is absolutely stacked. Robert Pattinson is back in the cowl, bringing that brooding intensity to Bruce Wayne. Jeffrey Wright returns as Jim Gordon, likely elevated in rank within the GCPD. Andy Serkis is back as Alfred Pennyworth, and we're hearing that while they might still butt heads a bit, Alfred is growing much closer to Bruce emotionally. And of course, Colin Farrell is confirmed to return as the newly empowered crime boss, Oz Cobb, the Penguin. Though interestingly enough, despite his massive rise to power in the TV show, Farrell noted he's currently only slated for about 2 scenes in this specific film.
Plus, we've got confirmation on some wider Gotham figures returning. Jamie Lawson is back as Mayor Bella Real, who has a massive mess to clean up, alongside Gil Perez-Abraham as Officer Martinez. There are also widespread expectations that Barry Keoghan's deeply twisted, scarred Joker is going to make an appearance from Arkham State Hospital. But it's definitely worth noting what we aren't getting. Despite all those heavy internet rumors, James Gunn firmly shut down the idea that Robin is making an appearance. So, Reeves is clearly committed to keeping Bruce Wayne isolated in this grounded universe for now.
Which brings us to Section 4, the new cast members, expanding the Rogues Gallery.
Listen, Matt Reeves basically opened the floodgates in May 2026, welcoming a whole new tier of explosive talent to Gotham. In what feels like this massive crossover of Marvel veterans jumping ship to DC, Scarlett Johansson and Sebastian Stan have officially been cast as Gilda and Harvey Dent. Joining them is Game of Thrones legend Charles Dance, who's stepping in to play Harvey's abusive, alcoholic father, Charles Dent. We also have incredible additions with Brian Tyree Henry and Sebastian Koch, though their roles are being kept super under wraps right now. It is literally a prestige crime drama ensemble at this point.
And Sebastian Stan is already out there dropping hints about the psychological complexity of his character. He teased the tragic, multi-layered transition into the iconic villain Two-Face, saying that Harvey Dent has, quote, many roles. With Charles Dance cast as his abusive father, it's pretty clear the script is going to heavily explore the deep-seated trauma and psychological fracturing that ultimately breaks Gotham's White Knight. It completely aligns with the film's whole theme of moral grayness.
Finally, Section 5, Timeline to Theaters, The Long Wait. So when do we actually get to see this thing? Here's the concrete roadmap. Pre-production officially kicked off back in August 2025. By May 2026, the rigorous casting process was completely wrapped up. And now, the cameras are finally rolling. Production has taken over the massive sound stages at Warner Bros. Studios Leavesden over in England, and they're doing location shooting to bring the incredible Gothic architecture of Glasgow, Scotland, back to the big screen as our physical Gotham City.
Just a quick, fascinating side note for all the cinephiles out there. Due to severe scheduling conflicts from those earlier delays, the phenomenal Greg Fraser couldn't return as cinematographer. But don't worry, the franchise is in amazing hands. Oscar winner Eric Messerschmidt, who you probably know from his stunning work with David Fincher, has officially taken over, pretty much guaranteeing we get that impossibly dark, stylized, shadowy aesthetic.
So, the golden question, when does it actually release? 2028. Specifically, February 18th, 2028. I know, some early reports slated it for late 2027, but the shifting nature of a production this huge, and their absolute commitment to getting the script perfect, pushed it back. And remember, this is officially arriving under the standalone DC Elseworlds label, so it's completely separate from the new Superman film and the rest of the main DCU.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this provocative thought. We know the players, we know the setting, but surrounded by new enemies, shifting alliances, and in totally desperate, flooded city, how will Bruce Wayne navigate a Gotham that is no longer black and white? When the very man who represents the law, Harvey Dent, begins to fracture, who can Batman truly trust? It's a mystery we'll be waiting a little while to solve, but the clues so far promise an absolute masterpiece. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep your eyes on the shadows.